Hey everyone, welcome to watercoloring for the non-artistic card maker. This is Justine and it's day 2 of backgrounds, and today we're going to be looking at some different background techniques. There are 3 videos in total, so don't forget to check out the other videos that I have up today. You can find those by clicking on my blog in the description there. Also, if you would like to see free classes every month such as this one, be sure to hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, and share. Sharing is the most important because I decided that these classes are really a ton of work, and if I'm not getting any sort of engagement with them or more than my usual videos, I probably won't do them. So please share, and we're going to take a look at now the card that we're going to be creating today. So we're going to get started and start off directly with the watercolor. So I am grabbing a piece of watercolor paper. It's cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and I am adding some water onto the surface. Not adding a ton of water, but enough to saturate the paper. I am not going to tape this down. This watercolor paper tends to be quite thick at 140 pounds, so it tends not to warp too badly, and I'm going to be drying it with my heat gun, which always makes it kind of go back into place. I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just going to go in with various colors that when they mix, they're not going to turn brown. So you kind of have to think of your kindergarten days and which colors match and which ones will not mix together. I always tend to try to go back in with the previous color and mix the 2 colors together. It might look kind of terrible right now, but in the end, the result was actually quite nice. So I'm adding yellow, and then I added sort of an orange, pink, purple, and then I'm going to go in with some blue at the top. I'm just going to wipe off my surface here because it is getting quite saturated with water. And again, going back in with those colors to blend them together is also essential. So right now you'll see I'm going back in the purple to sort of mix the blue and the purple together. This is just going to get you some nice blending. Now at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab a piece of paper towel and blot my card. This is going to give it almost like a rising sun effect, or it kind of looks like a sunrise. Absolutely love the way that it turned out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this stamp here. It's called Limitations by Tim Holtz. This one's one of those ones that's available at Michael's, so I'm not 100% sure if it's available elsewhere or if it's made exclusive for sort of those big box stores. And it is a set that also comes with the dies, which is important for the technique I'm going to show you now. So you had the watercolor technique previously, and you could use that obviously with or without the paper towel pouncing, so to say. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put this into my MISTI, and I am going to stamp this butterfly onto my watercolor paper in black ink. Now, if you want to go back in and add some more water or maybe touch things up, it's a really good idea for the black ink to be archival ink because it's water resistant. But I'm not going back in with any sort of water, so I'm going to be using my VersaFine Black Onyx black ink. And I really absolutely adore this ink for very detailed stamps like this butterfly. So now that I have my butterfly stamped onto my actual front panel, I'm going to take my die cut and I'm actually going to cut this out. Now don't think I'm crazy, but this is a technique that is becoming really, really popular, and I see it quite often. I absolutely love the way that it looks, and it's just really unique. So I'm going to just attach my die down here with some washi tape. I'm going to add this to my magnetic platform and get that die cut out. I'm using my Big Shot to cut out my die here on the card, and what you need to do is you also need to go back in and cut that butterfly out in white cardstock. So you're just going to get some scrap piece of white cardstock or computer paper or whatever it is, and you're going to cut out a second butterfly. That's very important. I'm just simply going to set my die cuts off to the side here while I fold my card base. My card base measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's folded at 5 1/2 inches there in the middle to make a top folding card. I'm going to attach my card panel with the die cut butterfly already cut out, and I'm going to attach this using some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. You can use any sort of adhesive at this point, and I'm going to paste that onto my card base so that there's a nice white frame around the entire panel that we did. And you can see how that watercolor looks just really awesome against that white. I'm definitely going to take my white butterfly now, and I'm going to put it into my die cut shape here. And then I'm going to take the piece that I cut out with my actual butterfly from the watercolor panel. I'm going to bend it slightly and then add it over top of that white butterfly that I just cut out. And you won't be able to really see it around it, which is also really good. So now we have this butterfly, which is the same color as my watercolor, but it's popping out with its wings. So I absolutely adore the way that that looks, and it really kind of gives it that whole, how did you do that look? And I absolutely love that about cards. is when I'm never quite sure how someone did something. The last step I'm going to do is just add my sentiment. And I'm going to be using this stamp set from Winnie and Walter. I absolutely adore it because there's so many different words and it has a few of those big words in brush lettering. So I absolutely love their stamps that are like that, and they have quite a few of them available, which are really, really useful for making cards with sentiments. So I'm going to add the Just Because sentiment here onto my card and stamp that onto the bottom left-hand corner. And I am attaching it with my MISTI, but I had forgotten to put my black foam back in because this is a clear stamp, whereas the butterfly was a cling stamp, so it was quite a bit thicker. So I do need a little bit extra help from that black area. I'm going to ink this up with black ink, the same ink I used as with the butterfly, which is that VersaFine black onyx ink. And I'm just going to touch that down there for the Just Because. I think this card looks quite nice the way it is. I didn't bother adding embellishments or anything like that. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. All the supplies used are linked to below in the video description or on my blog. Click here up at the top to visit my blog and the supply list. There are also PDF file downloads for this card. On the right, you can click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel, and on the moving video, you can click on another video for the watercolor backgrounds technique. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.